Welcome to the Ron Lyons Real Estate Show podcast. As usual, buckle up because you're in for a ride. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my podcast. Today I'm going to talk about something that is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. And no, surprisingly, it's not gun control, it's not politics, it's not religion. It's something probably even a little more touchy than those things, and that is the subject of commissions, real estate commissions to be specific. And honestly, I understand where people are coming from when they get a little upset about the commission and their perception of that you're going to pay someone 6% to do nothing more than put a sign in the yard and sit back and take offers, especially in this market. That totally makes sense to me. And I'd be really upset about that too, if it were true. But that's just not the case. Now, let me explain a couple of things to you. First of all, and I'm not supposed to use words like standard and stuff like that, but let's just say that the normal commission, the normally accepted commission is 6%. And the idea is that 3% of that goes to the broker or the agent who brings a buyer to the deal, and 3% of that 6 goes to your actual agent or your broker, the person representing you as the seller. So it's always the seller of the home that pays the commission to both sides. Even though the agent on the other side doesn't work for you, that's how the commission is split. The commission, that full 6% is, I guess in theory, paid all to your agent, and then your agent is expected to split that commission with the other side, and there's a long history of how that's all come about, but essentially that's how it works. That's the word that I'm not supposed to say, standard. And I guess most people would agree that 3% for selling a home or 3% for buying a home, that's probably a little more in line with what you would expect. But 6% can be a little costly. So just to give you an idea, if you had a $350,000 house, and I'm just picking some random number, your commission on that is $21,000 that you pay. That's $10,500 to each side. Now, it's a little bit of money, no matter how you look at it. That's a little bit of money. And I can only speak for my situation to help you understand how that commission actually breaks down. It would be super awesome if $10,500 would just come straight into my pocket and that'd be the end of the deal, but that's simply not the case. First of all, working as a real estate agent, I'm self-employed. So there's no employer who's going to be taking out taxes. I'm going to have to pay all of my taxes. And I'm also going to have to pay self-employment tax. So you can take that $10,500 and you can reduce that by a considerable portion just going back to the government. So you've got that. And then in my case, I have an assistant who works with me on all of these deals. And it's absolutely imperative that I have an assistant because working all of these different deals and the speed at which we work and the number and the volume of transactions taking place, it would be nearly impossible and dangerous in a way to not have an assistant or another set of eyes looking over every single document that comes through. It's just absolutely critical that everything be right throughout this transactional process on a real estate deal. So part of that commission, part of that $10,500 is obviously going to go to my assistant for working on this deal with me as well. And in order to have a good assistant, you're going to pay good money. Now, you can get someone who's, willing to work for a whole lot less, but the quality of their work product, their loyalty, and all those things is also considerably less. And I'm not serving you by having someone work for me that is not of the same caliber and doesn't have the same work ethic that I do. And beyond that, now there's a lot of things that go into selling a house. And I include all of these things knowing full well that they're actually coming out of my commission. I don't charge you additional for all of the services that I actually provide on top of just listing your home and putting a sign in the yard. For example, I'm going to have a very professional photographer come in and take photographs of the inside and the outside of your home. So your home is going to look like a show home just with the photography alone. We're also going to create a very professional video of your home. And I don't mean walking through with a cell phone. I mean taking a gimbal and doing Premiere Pro editing on it, using a drone to fly over the top of the house, maybe the neighborhood and some of the features in the area. We're going to create professional graphics for your home. We're not just going to have a black and white photocopy that's really hard to read and understand and doesn't present a very good image of your home in a box out in front of your house. We're going to have high-end, full-color, professionally printed graphics made of your home. I'm going to put a sign in your yard that isn't just some little metal cheap sign that looks like the birds have decided to camp out on it for, the last year and a half. My sign is going to be large as the city ordinance will allow, very tasteful, very classical in design, and it's going to be lit. So even at night, people are going to see the sign in your front yard. And I'm going to have all of these things, all these materials, the photography, the video, and all of that stuff put together, and we're going to actually geo-market that material through Facebook and Instagram. And when I say geo-market it, I mean we're going to specifically choose audiences that we know are going to be your most likely buyers, potential buyers, or the kinds of people who are going to have friends who are going to be potential buyers for your home. And we're going to be sure that on Facebook and Instagram and even some other social media, but especially those two, your home is popping up all the time right in front of their face. I'm also going to make sure that your home is all over Realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, all of those real estate websites where people tend to go looking for homes. And then we're going to hold open houses at your house as often as needed. And I don't mean an open house where, we show up and, hope that someone comes along. I'm going to market the open house. We're going to create an experience at the open house. And when I say an experience, it goes along with the same thoughts that I've told you about in previous podcasts. I'm going to appeal to all of the senses that a person has when they come and visit your house. And that means that visually everything's going to be right. They're going to smell certain smells. I know that sounds crazy, but even that is going to be taken care of. We're going to be sure that the sounds are right, meaning that we're going to have ambient music playing in the background. There's going to be speakers that we're going to set up in different places around your home. We're going to basically appeal to every sense that we possibly can and create an entire experience when someone comes to your home. I happen to know that most of the open houses out there are going to have some real estate agent show up, open up the house, stick an open house sign in the front yard, or maybe 40 if you heard that podcast of mine about the agent who had like 30 or 40 open house signs in the yard. And they're just going to hope that people show up. They're not going to try to appeal to anything. They're just going to sit there and kind of camp out. That's usually how that works. And there's so much more that goes into selling your home. So in the end, by the time you take out the taxes, by the time you pay my assistant, by the time I pay for all of these services that are going to be provided to help market and sell your home quickly, you're going to find out that nobody's making out like a bandit on a deal like this. It's just not possible. Now, we have to pay the other side that expected commission. There's nothing that we can do about that. That's just the way it is. But I'll tell you what I can do and what I've decided to do in order to help this entire situation. Through the summer months, that's usually the crazy selling time. And so what I've decided to do is take my 3% of the commission split and lower that to 1.95%. I'm going to rebate to you 1.05% of the commission. Now, 1.05% doesn't sound like a whole lot, but there's not a whole lot left to give back Now, let me give you an example. On that same $350,000 house, that my 1.95% is going to actually rebate back to you $3,675. So when you're going through all of this stuff and we're looking at your new home and you're going to want to buy, new furniture, maybe you're going to want to paint walls, you're going to want to maybe put hardwoods in some room or do something like that. $3,675 can go a long ways towards taking care of some of those things. And obviously you can scale that up and scale that down. If you've got a $250,000 house, then I'm going to rebate back $2,625. Still a nice little chunk of money. On the other end, if you've got a $650,000 house, that means I'm going to put $6,825 back in your hand. I'm going to rebate that. So no matter where you go, up or down the scale, getting back that 1.05% of the commission in the form of a rebate is going to help with a lot of the expenses and things that you might want to do to your new house. Now, there is a way that I can make this deal even a little better, and that is if you actually use me to not only list your home for sale, your current home, but let me represent you as the buyer on another home that's of roughly equal or higher value, then I'm going to get paid, as we were saying earlier, by the seller of the home that you're buying. So it's not going to cost you anything. I can reduce that 3%, half of the commission on the selling of your home, my portion, down to 1%, and yet still provide all of those other services. That 1% is not likely to cover the expense of all those things, but I'm going to be making at least 3% from the seller of the home that you're buying. So it all works together. Basically, it's going to all work out financially in the end in such a way that it is feasible, it is acceptable for me to do that and be able to stay in business. So anyways, that's kind of a quick breakdown of everything. So if you are interested in getting your home sold and would like to talk to me, please reach out to me. And either way, I definitely look forward to meeting you in the future. And I will see you again, talk to you again on my next podcast. So as always, be blessed, be safe, and I will talk to you on my next show.